Hi, and welcome to the next section of this course. In this section, we are basically going to give our application the finishing touches and also style our application. So what are the topics that we will cover in this section? Firstly, we will check out what is string localization and how important it is in terms of Android application development. Next, we will learn how to update our application launcher icon. And at last, we will check out how to apply themes and colors to our application and thus giving the finishing touches to our application. So let us proceed with the first video of performing string localization. Well, the term string localization might be new to you. So firstly, in this video, we will check out what is string localization and then how to implement it within our own application. So without wasting much time, head back to the Android Studio and let us close all the files for the sake of simplicity. And from the view, let us select the project view and then simply expand your project. App, source, main, Java and also resource layout folder. Now before I proceed, let me show you what exactly is string localization and where you can find it within your device. So for that, let us start your emulator. Start it. So within your Android device, if you open any application, for example, the Gmail application, then you will find the inbox written in English, right? Similarly, within our application as well, such as message sharing application, you will find everything in English language. Why? Just because our device language is by default English. Now what if I go to settings and change the device primary language? So go to system, down below, select the language, and here by default our language is English, as you can see here on the top. So here let us add a new language, such as let us look for the French language and then select France, and there we go, the French language has been added to our device. Now let us make this language as the primary language. So for that, let us drag and drop this language on the top above the English language. So now if you notice on the top, our title bar has changed to something written in French. Since I don't know the French language, so I cannot translate it right now. If you move back to the settings application, then you will find everything written in the French language, just because our default language is now French. So everything is now in French language. Now move back and let us open our own application that we just created, my share application. But if you notice within your application, everything still appears in English language. Changing the primary language of your device has no impact within our application. So imagine a situation if any French user downloads your application. He will be totally disappointed, right? Because he don't know the English language, so he will probably uninstall your application and throw your application away. So this is our problem statement, which we are going to solve it with the help of the concept of string localization. That is, when we select the default language as the French language, all the text such as show toast and enter your message should appear in the French language. So for that, let us open our activity main.xml, and there if you notice, we have simply hard-coded our text such as show toast, and then we have enter your message, and so on rest of the text as well, send data to the next activity. Now the Android Studio is simply showing us some warning. Let's check it out. Hard-coded string enter your message should use @string resource. Let us expand it, for example more, and now it simply asks you for localizing the string. So for that, if you notice, within the values folder, initially when I started this course, I told you we store all the localized colors, strings or text or even styles and themes as well. So in this section, we are probably going to make use of this values folder. So for now, let us move to our strings.xml. Now the significance of this strings.xml is that you need to remove all the hard-coded text such as enter your message and place it within the strings.xml file. Such as our application name is already present within our strings.xml, that is message share application. So similar to this, let us localize all the strings. So the first one is show toast. Let us copy it, and within this file, let us define the string tag and then give it some name. For example, button underscore show toast. And then within the tag, let us paste our text show toast. Now, how to refer to this text show toast within our activity main.xml? So for that, we need to use the ID of button show toast. So within the activity main.xml, instead of hard-coded text, let us use @string / button show toast like this. Now once you do this, then this statement is simply going to refer to the string that has the ID of button show toast. So there we go. Within the strings.xml, we have the string tag, which is coming from here at the string, and then we have the ID, which is present here, and thereby referring to this value of show toast. Perfect. So within our UI, you can see this show toast text here. Now this was all about how we localize the string. Now what about the French language? Currently our text is still in English. So how come the French user will see something written in French? So for that, within our resource folder, let us right click and let us prepare our application for the French user. So for that, let us create a new Android resource file. And now from the available qualifiers, simply select the locale. Click on this arrow and then let us select our French language. So down below here, we have the French language here, right? Now, if you want, you can also create your application compatible for the Persian language, Spanish language, Greek language, and so on and so forth. I am just showing you one example how to make your application compatible for the French language. And then you have various other locales, for example, Benin, Burundi, I don't know how to pronounce that, Belgium, and so on. Right now, I will select any region. Now, once you select the any region, you will find the Android Studio has simply decided the directory name for that. That is values-fr. Now, fr stands for the French language. If you select, for example, Persian, then you will find the folder name has changed from fr to fa, which might be the qualifier for the Persian language. So right now let us use the French language and select any region and also give the file name. So here I will use strings.xml like this. Perfect. Hit on OK. Add it to Git. And there we go. The Android Studio has simply created the values-fr folder where we have strings.xml. So let us open this file, fr strings. And also remember, we have value strings which will be applicable for the English language as of now for our device. Now within the fr strings here, let us copy this statement and paste it here, the same one, and make sure this ID and this ID should always match. And now our task is to convert this English language into the French language. Since I don't know French language, so I will now go to Google and simply type English to French. Use the Google Translate, and here I will use show toast. Here we have something in the French language. Now since I don't know the French language, so I am not sure if it is a correct translation or not. Since we are just practicing, so for now it is okay. Let us copy it and paste it here. Perfect. Let us now launch our application and let's see if everything is fine. And there we go, our application is now up and running and we have successfully changed the button text from show toast to something in French. Fine. Now what about other widgets as well? For example, enter your message, send data to the next activity. Let us localize them as well. So for that, what we can do, within our value strings.xml, I will create the separate string tag for these views as well, right? So one by one, let us create it. Since I am quite lazy, so I will now go to my source code of the file. And from there, I will simply copy all of these code and paste it within my application. You can also get all of these code from the GitHub. or you can simply manually type them here. And similarly, let us copy all of this code and paste it within the French strings.xml. And now one by one, let us translate it. You can again make use of Google Translate if you wish to. Well, again, I am not sure if these translations are correct or not. So if you know French, then please correct it. Right? And now let us go to our activity main.xml and one by one let us use this syntax of @string for each of these views. Perfect. So in this way you can simply localize the strings in the English language as well as in the French language. Let us now launch our application and let's see the difference. And there we go, our application is now working perfectly fine. We have localized all the strings related to the main activity. Now one more thing I would like to tell you before concluding this video. If I click on this button, then you will find the toast message in the English language. Well, so far in this video we have learned how to localize the strings from the XML file. Now how about localizing the strings from our Kotlin file as well? So within the activities, if you go to the main activity and there you will find button was clicked, it is actually hard coded in the English language. Now what about the French language? So for this text, let us create one more string tag within our strings.xml string and give the name as, for example, button was clicked, and then copy this string value and paste it here like this. And similarly, let us copy this whole statement and paste it within the French strings.xml and let us convert it to French. Perfect. And now within the main activity, here the syntax will be bit different. In order to get this string from the strings.xml, we have to use the syntax of get resources. Now since we are using Kotlin, so I will use the properties of resources dot get the string method. And within this use r dot string dot button was clicked here. Perfect. So this will actually work and let us launch our application and let's see the impact. And now click on this button and there we go, we have got something in the French language. I don't know what is it, honestly. So let us go back to our settings application and let us change the language. I think this is our settings. And then down below system, language, and finally let us make English back to our primary language. And now things will change back to English. Let us now open our own application. And now we have got everything back to English language since we have changed our preference from French to English. So this is how we actually perform the string localization within our application. Now before I end this video, I would like to give you a very small task. Go through all the layout folders or the files such as activity hobbies, activity second.xml, list item.xml, and if you find any of the hard-coded string such as this title, then simply change it and localize it in the French language or any other language of your choice, and also go through all the activities as well and simply localize all the hard-coded strings which you can find there, right? So make sure you take it as an assignment. So that's all for this video, and in the next video we are going to update our launcher icon.